What's going on, fellow internet strangers? Welcome to the channel. I have some quarantine content for you. We are going to be taking a look at the top 5 most terrible perks in Shadow Fight 3. First of all, before we begin this video, I would just like to say that these perks are not 100% useless. You can still use these perks without any problem. They can help you out in different situations. It's just that they are at the bottom of the list. All the perks in all the 3 factions have different functions. Some perks do their jobs properly, while others are just terrible. Let's take a look at the top 5 most terrible perks in Shadow Fight 3. Let's begin. In position number 5, the most terrible perks in Shadow Fight 3 belong to the Legion faction. It's called the Legion Berserk. This perk is terrible and I don't recommend you use it.
What the fuck?
Haha, gotcha. If you called me a dumb idiot, I don't blame you. Putting all the jokes aside, let's actually begin this video. In position number 5, Faction Dynasty, codename Weakness. 25% chance to reduce enemies' hit damage by 50% over 2 seconds at level 15. If you like playing with Dynasty weapons, this is the perk that you use to provide you with protection. It can protect you against the Legion and Interruption interval and the Herald critical hit counter moves. This perk always gets activated in the middle of a combo. I put it in number 5 as a terrible perk because once you finish all your combo, the perk disappears. It doesn't get activated towards the end of the hit. And sometimes when it gets activated, the enemy is so far away that the perk just disappears the time they get close to hit you. This perk is not completely useless. It can actually provide you with 50% protection from all incoming hits. The only problem I have with it is that it gets activated midway through a combo. We all know the combos of the Dynasty take a long time to complete. By the time you finish completing your combo, this perk just disappears. Sometimes when it activates towards the end of the combo usually pushes the enemy far away. By the time they get close to you, the perk is already gone. On paper, the Weakness perk is absolutely amazing. When it comes to fighting, it's not gonna protect you properly. It can help you against the Legion and Interruption interval if it gets activated at the right time. But most of the time, this perk just gets activated when you don't really need it. To conclude everything about the Weakness perk, most of the time it gets activated midway through a combo. The Dynasty combos take long time to complete. The perk is not going to help you. When it gets activated at the end of the combo, your combo usually pushes the enemy far away, giving you more room in between you two. By the time the enemy gets close to you, the perk is gone. It can do a good job when it gets activated at the right time, but most of the time you're going to end up paying the price. That right there was a finisher with the legendary ants and the cannonball kick. Let us move on to the next perk. In position number 4, Faction Herald, codename Primary Protection. Damage taken during the first 5 seconds of the match is reduced by 55% at level 11. This perk is excellent right at the beginning of the match. Once the first 5 seconds of the match is gone, you have 0 protection. The perk just disappears. It provides no value whatsoever. The perk is going to be excellent against Mr. Azuma the Felsher, especially when he begins the match with a dash followed by volcanic eruption and then the porcupine. You will not set a record of death within 3 seconds. This perk will help you do that. After the first 5 seconds, it's gonna disappear 100%. You will have 0 protection for the remainder of the match. This perk is not completely useless. It can actually do a good job. You get protection in the first 5 seconds of the match. The reason I put it among the terrible perks is because once the 5 seconds is gone, you have 0 protection throughout the match. Let's assume you begin the match by dominating your opponent It's like you're having a wasted perk on your armor for no reason. Sometimes you can evade all the enemy's moves and this perk doesn't do anything for you. If you begin the match by dominating your enemies, it's useless. In conclusion, the primary protection is not bad, it's just that it's only active for 5 seconds, and most of the time you might not even need this perk, especially if you're a very aggressive fighter and you know how to begin matches. Moving on to number 3, Faction Herald, codename Prepared Strike. First hit to your enemy during the first 4 seconds of the round deals 95% more damage. So, the first hit of your weapon during the first 4 seconds of the match is going to deal 95% more damage. This is very small amount. It could have been excellent if the Herald critical charge could activate right at the beginning of the match. This perk is one of the terrible perks in the game. It's like a rip-off of the Time Bomb from the Herald faction. The Time Bomb perk is going to give you additional damage throughout the 99 seconds of the match when it gets activated. The Prepared Strike tries to copy the Time Bomb and only makes it work in the first 4 seconds of the match. If you're a very smart player, you would never use Prepared Strike instead of Time Bomb. They do the exact same thing, except that the Time Bomb will work for the 99 seconds of the match. The Prepared Strike perk could have been excellent if the Herald critical charge could show up within the first 4 seconds of the match. The Herald critical charge mostly shows up after 10 seconds. The Prepared Strike will not be used at its full strength. To conclude everything, the Prepared Strike is actually one of the worst perks in the whole of Shadow Fight 3. It's only active during the first 4 seconds. For the remainder of the match, you're fighting without a perk on your weapon. The best thing you should do is use Time Bomb instead of the Prepared Strike. The Time Bomb even does a better job than the Prepared Strike. It's active for 99 seconds. Position number 2, Faction Dynasty, codename Cornered Cat. Gain 50% damage if your health is under 23% at level 13. Right now I am gonna try and fight the Dragon Mentor with the Cornered Cat and the legendary Nunchaku. We are gonna be using the Backstabber technique with the heavy attack. That's going to do a lot of damage. Another thing is that the damage is going to be increased by vaporization. So, the Cornered Cat is on the armor right now, but I don't think we are going to use it in the first round because we destroyed the Dragon Mentor. The Cornered Cat is a terrible perk because it doesn't serve its purpose properly. It does not really do a lot of damage when your health is below 23%. Most of the time, the enemies will kill you before you even use that perk. It's gonna be useless if you use it on the armor. You're better off using something like poison. The Cornered Cat perk would have been completely amazing if it could only work with the Star Chaser set. Once you enter the Star Chaser form, the Cornered Cat just disappears. It doesn't work. This perk will give you 50% more damage when your health is below 23%. But here is the thing. No enemy is gonna let you stand. They will mostly kill you before you even use this perk. As you can see right now, the damage is not significant. I tried using both amplification, vaporization with the Cornered Cat. It's not really doing a lot of damage. Even the Nunchaku technique with the Backstabber will do a lot of damage than this Cornered Cat. This round is going to be the perfect example of why I say the Cornered Cat is a terrible perk. Right now we just got shocked by the Dragon Mentor. Let's see if we can use the perk properly. As you can see on the screen, the Dragon Mentor is trying to kill me before I can even use that perk. He tried to use Typhoon but he stopped midway and caught me off guard. Most of the time the enemy is gonna kill you before you use that Cornered Cat perk. And every time you try to use it, you are in a bad position. One single hit from the enemy and you're done. You're better off using the Poison perk, which will return a lot of damage back to the enemy. The Cornered Cat is not very bad, but it's not going to do its job properly. Most of the time you're gonna finish the match or you're gonna get destroyed without using it. Number 2 is done. Let's see who is in number 1. Faction Herald. Codename Shadow Affinity. At the beginning of each round, you gain 20% of Shadow Energy. First of all, let me explain how the Shadow Affinity works. At the beginning of each round, you gain 20% Shadow Energy. 20% is not a significant amount. There are so many perks in the Herald faction that can give you more Shadow Energy than the Shadow Affinity itself. The only good time where the Shadow Affinity perk will be useful is when you finish the match with 80% Shadow Energy. At the beginning of the next round, the Shadow Affinity is gonna fill up your Shadow meter quick. But it's not really worth it using the perk for just that reason. Sometimes you could finish the match with full Shadow Energy. When you begin the second round, your Shadow Affinity has gone to waste. I say this perk is terrible because 20% more Shadow Energy at the beginning of each round is not really useful. There are other perks in the game that can give you more Shadow Energy throughout the match than the 20% that you get with the Shadow Affinity. So what do you guys think of my rankings? Comment down below how you would rank these perks in terms of them being useless. You notice I did not include the critical mass. That's because I don't know how that perk works. They changed it with the Herald update. It's not working at the moment. They could change it again in the future. That's why I did not include it in this video. I don't know if they're gonna change it, but if they do change it, then it's gonna be good. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Until then, I'm gonna talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.